Good morning, First Teachers. My name is Amelia Joan Brown, and today I'm going through the top 10 possible changes that we're going to see in early years and nursery schools in the UAE in this new academic term. I just want to first say it's the first week of August, and currently we don't have any information from our own ministry. We don't have reopening criteria, we don't have a reopening date, and even if we did, we don't have any way to submit any documentation to show that we are compliant. So with that out of the way, let's have a look at what we have prepared for in our nursery, ready for the day that we get given the go-ahead. The first thing we're going to be changing in our school is that we're going to have a one-way system. We base this on education department recommendations from around the world, and a one-way system means basically parents, children, staff come in one entrance of the school and they exit from another entrance of the school. We do have two entrances and exits, so we can do this quite easily. It means that there's no crossover. Also, we'll make sure that there's no additional parents coming into the school, no adults that are not normally with the children. So no parent tours, no people coming in to make payments, all that sort of thing, to try and keep any chance of COVID-19 entering the school out of the school. The second thing that we will do is obviously temperature checks. Every child that walks in the school, every single staff member that walks in the school will have a temperature check 3 times a day. We already do this in our school, so it's not a big difference to us. But instead of doing it in the lobby like we do, we're actually going to be doing it at the front entrance gate, so that there's no way of it even coming through. Once the children arrive, they'll make sure that they don't bring anything from outside inside. So making sure that their shoes and their bags stay outside. Anything that's coming into the school will be completely steam misted sterilized. So for example, if they have got a lunch box, that'll be cleaned before it's moved into our fridges. The third thing we're going to do is have bubbles. This again is a big thing that they're doing around the world, and it just means that children stay in their own group. In our school previously, we have almost like a high school system, so children move around constantly during the day. They don't stay in one place. They have a small homeroom time of the day. Other than that, they move. They're in a STEM lab, or they are in a cookery class, or in the gym, but there is constant movement all day. They even move into Arabic class, French class, outside, soft play, music room, all of that. Children don't stay in the same place a long time. They have movement. This obviously in term 1 is completely different for us. We will change that. Children will be allocated a classroom or a bubble room, and they will stay with their own group. That means that their teachers, their TAs and the group of their children don't move out of that area unless there is a movement to somewhere like outside. If there is somebody who's coming into the class because they're not moving, for example, the gym teacher or the science lab teacher or the Arabic or French teacher, they will make sure that they have got on PPE, that they are steamed and sterilized before they come in, and they will move into the classroom. Everything that they are taking will be cleaned between moving from one class to another class, to make sure there's no cross-contamination. Other than those staff members who will see the children daily, there will be no one else going into that room. That includes doctor's visits. Any chance of bringing COVID into the school will be stopped in its place. Very important that there's no mixing of groups. So for example, sleep rooms, we won't be having sleep rooms where we have different children, for example, from different classes, all in one sleep room. That will stop. Any sort of sporting activity where we have a whole pile of children from different age groups or different classes coming in and doing a sports activity, that will not happen at all. Bubbles will only be with bubbles. There'll be no cross movement in the hallways. Even if children are moving, they'll be moving as a group, and there will be no other movement. Going up one set of stairs and down another set of stairs. No cross movement at all in our one-way system. Also, if for example the children are going outside, when we finally get a cool day and they can go outside and play in the playground, they will only go in their bubble, and all the entire equipment playground area will be cleaned between them and the next class going outside. The same if we're allowed to use the gym will be sterilized between the time the first group go and the time the second group go. So it's going to be a big difference. Another thing that we are doing is making sure that anywhere where there is a possible high a risk assessment for contamination, things like our role play area, our ball pools, things like that are closed. Also anywhere where it's very difficult in the time frame that we have to do a full sterilization between that class and the next class. Small World, for example, very difficult. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to take portions of role play and Small World and the music room, and we're going to transfer them into the new bubble classes, and then every 2 weeks we're going to move that around so children actually get different toys and activities in their class in this new normal. Obviously one of the things that we're going to be doing is making sure that all staff have COVID tests before they come in, making sure that as they are arriving they are clean of COVID. There's no chance that it's coming in because they've picked it up from somewhere else. At the moment there's a vaccination program here, so this could actually come into play as well. Maybe they will have vaccines taking the place of the COVID test. If you've had the vaccine, you are free from taking the COVID test. We are not sure at the moment, but that could be another possibility. Resources, especially resources that are messy play resources, sand, water, mushy food, rice for example, or lentils, or any sort of messy play will no longer be group activities. There's no tough trays or anything like that. It's all going to be individual. So even if there's sand play, they will have it in their own little sandbox. They will have their own little scoops and funnels and things like that. Even stationery, each child will have their own set of stationery, their own pencils, their own crayons, their own glue sticks, so that there's no cross-contamination between children. When they sit down and eat, they'll make sure that we have a divider on all of the tables so that the children can't touch each other's food. A Perspex divider has worked really well in a lot of schools around the world. Additionally, obviously in the classrooms, making sure that there's no sort of soft furnishings, no carpets, no cushions, anything that is not very easily sterilized at the end of the day. So for example, with a carpet, it sometimes takes us 2 days. We wash the carpet, we leave it to dry out in the beautiful UAE sunshine, and then usually a day later it's ready to go back into the classroom. We don't have time to do that because we're going to be sterilizing everything every single day. And obviously we have got an isolation room. So we have ensured that we have an isolation room which is outside of the school. So if we are worried about a staff member or a child having any symptoms, we can isolate them straight away in the isolation room, which has nothing to do with the school. There's no link to ventilation, there's not even a link to the bathroom. So we're going to make sure that that is available. And last but not least, we're going to bring in a lot of fun, exciting games and activities for children based on infection control and hand washing. Hand washing will be at the same time as we do water breaks. At the moment, every hour children do a water break, and hand washing will be the same. As soon as the child has a water break, they will go and wash their hands. So we're going to have a lot of reminders about how to sneeze, how to cough, hygiene, and obviously things like washing hands. Bathrooms will be cleaned throughout the day as well, making sure that there's no chance of COVID being spread in the bathrooms. So that's it in a nutshell. We hope that put your mind at ease. Again, this is not from our ministry. This is from departments of education around the world. But once we get our guidelines, we will obviously slot them in to our reopening plan and our own risk assessments for COVID-19. So obviously, stay safe. It's the new normal. Stay safe, stay healthy. See you soon. Bye.